Hi guys, welcome to my new video on creating a Spring Boot application into a Docker image. As part of this video, I'll walk you through on creating a Spring Boot application and then creating a Docker image out of it. You can follow my previous link where I have explained about different tags inside a Dockerfile. Dockerfile is basically for creating a custom Docker image where we define different tags and Docker engine understand those tags for creating your image. So let's start. Agenda for this complete video will be, first I'll walk you through some basic details about Dockerfile. It is just a revisit. I'll not go in depth about it. You can follow other links to understand this. Then I'll give you an example of creating a Linux based image where I'll use some alpine or Ubuntu image, and then we can dockerize it. We can customize it and then we can have a look into it. Then I'll give an example about a Spring Boot application. I'll use a Spring Boot application, then I'll build it and create a Docker image out of it. So let's start. So Dockerfile. So for creating any custom image of Docker, you need a Dockerfile. Dockerfile is just a specification file where you define all the different tags which are understood by the Docker engine for creating your images. The very first tag is from tag. From tag is like which base image Docker will be using. Like for creating a Spring Boot application, we'll be using Java as the from tag or Java as the base image. So Java, if you look into the Java from tag or Java image, then you will see another Docker file inside that one. That Docker file will also have some base image, like Linux will be the base image. Over that it will apply different layers to it. So from tag is the base image which will be required for creating your next layers of architecture. So from tag, and also as part of application and multi-stage build, you can use multiple froms also. So you can get more details in my previous video. Next tag is maintainer tag, where you define the maintainer details, just your mail ID or name of the maintainer, you can have it. Run tag. So like as I told, if you see a Java based image, you will have a base image like Linux is the base image, and then over that it installs some Java library or some other library. So those all pre-built, like applying over Linux image some more layers to it, are done by using run command, so that the complete environment will be ready. So for preparing any environment, whatever the command you want to execute, that is kept inside the run tag. Then the next thing is copy or add tag. If you want something from your local drive to be copied to the image, or something from URL to be copied inside your image, you can use copy and add tag. Working directory is kind of changing the current location of your execution directory. Like after starting the Docker image or Docker container, you want to move into a app folder, then you can say that working directory is app folder inside that one. Then we have expose. So out of Docker container, if you want some port to be exported, you can use this expose command. And then we have volumes also. Volumes, I'll come with some more videos on volumes where I will explain about how you can use volume and persistent based application. And then we have CMD and entry point. CMD and entry point is kind of execution point for your container. Whatever the command you give inside CMD and entry point, that will be the command which will keep on running or keep on continuing your container. And finally you have comments. By using the number sign, you can define your comments. So let's start. So Linux first Docker image. So we'll try to create a active instance of Linux. So let me go to the terminal, then we'll see on that. So this is a Linux machine I am using. It is an Ubuntu. So here Docker is pre-installed. I'll not go through the Docker pre-installation. You can look into any other video I'll be sharing. There you can follow the instruction for installing Docker into a Linux box. So as part of this video, and I'll create a Docker custom image like alpine image. So what I need to do is docker run alpine, and I can say that latest. So What I'm doing as part of this is I'm trying to run a alpine image. Alpine is a lightweight Linux machine which is less than 3 MB. Very basic things are available inside that one. You can have it for testing purpose or some. So you can see that the image is created, the build happened successfully with these details. Like first thing is it was able to pull it from Docker Hub, the Alpine image, then it updated the maintainer details and whatever the run APK update we did. So it was able to update that container image. That image is updated with latest patch. Then we were able to run that. So it is creating the Docker image out of it. So we'll try to see that whether the image is available in our local Docker registry or not. So with the help of Docker images tag, we can see that what is the images available in our local machine. So you can see that this is the repository we used, and this is the image ID, and this is the tag version. This is the latest version, and it is built 49 seconds ago. So this image is built. Let's try to run that. So what is the way we can run it is again same Docker run, and I'll say that detach mode, and this is the Docker image ID, the unique hexadecimal ID. So it gave me a container ID. So this is the container ID which is created. So we'll try to look into that container with the help of Docker ps command. You can see that what are the latest containers running in your machine. So this is the latest container got created with the command. What it is running is sleep for 1 day. By using that we created a custom image. So this was the very first way of creating a custom image, where as part of last example what we did was we pulled a Linux image and then we customized it by using Dockerfile and we executed that one. So if you have a requirement of creating a custom image of Linux and applying something over it, then you can use that kind of Dockerfile and apply that patches over that. And also if you don't have in your local machine Linux, then you can use Alpine image and run that one and verify your Linux thing inside that one. The next thing we'll talk about is Spring Boot application into a Docker image. So what we'll do is we'll create a Spring Boot application. So how you can create a Spring Boot application is by using Spring Initializer. Directly you can create a Spring Boot application. So this is the site where you can go and you can create your Spring Boot application directly, or you can create it with IntelliJ also. Directly you can have the way of creation of Spring Boot application. Here you can define your what are the dependency you want. Spring Web, as I want the dependency, you can write it down here and just select that one. Then once you generate it, it will download it for you, and you can see that I have already downloaded. So this is the application, and next thing what we need to do is we need to build that application. So with maven build, I have built that one, maven clean install, and this is the generated folder, and here is the file I have created. So here is the jar file, which is an executable jar. So next thing what we need to do is we need to create a Docker file inside this current working directory. Inside this demo folder at the top location, you have to create a Docker file inside that one. So in that Docker file, what I'll be doing is, let me try to create a new Docker file and I'll explain about all the things needed for that one and that. So what I'm doing is renaming it to old, and here I'm creating a new Docker file. As part of this Docker file, what I need is like from tag. From tag is basically what is the base image you want, like OpenJDK 8 is the base image I want, and I have added a command springboot dockerize. Then I've added that what is the maintainer details. Copy is kind of like from the target folder where I have created the jar file. I'm copying that jar file into app folder, and also I'm changing the working directory to app folder. And in the run and in the command tag, what I can give is executable details. Java is the executable here, jar is the tag for running that jar file, and this is the jar file name. By using this we can create this image, Docker image, which will execute this jar file at runtime. So this jar file will also be copied as part of image and will be available whoever clone that image. So next thing what we need to do is we need to build that image. So for that purpose, what is the command is like, this is the command docker build -- tag, and repository I have given that saurabh mishra the repository, and application name, version, and which location it has to build it. So you can see that the image build started and the image build done. Spring Boot demo is the name of the application. So we'll see that whether this image is created or not by using docker images command. So you can see that this is the Spring Boot demo is the first which one is created 14 seconds ago, and this is the image ID. Now I want to run that image. Then how I'll do is we'll use the command docker run. I'll say that -p option is for publishing the port. So let's say 8000 is the port. I want the host machine to publish that application, and internally the port of application port is 8080. Then I'm giving the image ID and I'm trying to execute that. So you can see that started application in this much time. Now we can go to the browser and verify that whether the application is started or not. Yes, so we are able to start that Spring Boot application, and this application is running inside a Docker container. So if you want to run multiple images of that one, then what we'll do is we'll try to create one more container which will run the same kind of image in by using another port. So I opened one more terminal. In that I'm trying to execute that same thing with port number 8001. So it is able to run second container also with the port number 8001. So you can run as many applications you want by using same base image. Yes, so both applications are up and running. Like that you can create multiple running container out of it. So we created a Spring Boot application. We just used the Spring Initializer web URL, and directly we downloaded a Spring Boot application, and then we created a Docker file of that, and we built it, and finally we ran it by using the docker run command with multiple containers. That is all I have for this video. So what next you can follow up on is volumes and networks. So I'll give another video on volumes and networks so that you will understand more about why do we need a volume, why do we need a network. That's all I have for this video. Thank you for viewing this video. You can contact us at this mail ID. Thank you.